Okay, recording is in process. So I feel like this semester, I feel like I was really nervous going into the semester because of everything with COVID and trying to figure out ways that we can adapt and still make it like worthwhile for you guys. And I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like we did a pretty decent job overall. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think you felt like it was more involved even though we weren't like actually meeting?
I mean, I know that there are student orgs on campus that were like, too hard to figure this out. We're just not meeting. So the fact that we did meet at all, I think is great. I think everything's been super valuable. Yeah. I mean, I know NAFME, I'm on the board for the music educators organization at PFW, and it's been a lot more difficult because we've always had a lot of trouble having members involved, and it's definitely a lot easier in person, but we had a huge influx of freshmen this year and don't know literally any of them at all. So it's hard. So I applaud you guys for making this semester as accessible as you did.
Thank you. I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, I really agree because you guys really accommodated everybody's needs with this pandemic going on, and I appreciate how you uploaded all the videos too onto YouTube because, for example, I missed the mock interviews, and that's one. I mean, all of the events are really important for me to go to, but that's like, an example of a very important event. And so I was really happy that I could watch it on YouTube and learn from it, and that you guys even gave us the opportunity to give us participation for event 2. I thought that was really generous.
I feel like we were trying to make sure that we could be flexible with schedules. And in some ways, I feel like even without the pandemic, I feel like some of these things like YouTube would still be valuable. And I'm hoping that even if you didn't get a chance to like watch all of these videos this semester, I mean, you won't get attendance for it next semester because it's a new semester, but you could still go back and watch some of these things. You know what I mean? Like you could still learn experiences, even if you've graduated, if you're busy during student teaching next semester, you don't have time, it's still going to be there. So I'm hoping that can be a tool. You could share it with teachers that you're with if you want to. I mean, I feel like it has room to grow, which is one of the things that I really liked about it. Sorry, I have a cough drop in my mouth, so I don't cough the whole time, but then I feel like my voice sounds weird. But I feel like most of the semester we've been focusing on professional development kind of to try to get more information out there, because it was one of the easiest things to do was to get us to get speakers and to talk about different topics that we could all talk about together. So some of the highlights, well, one of the biggest highlights I think was that we added the Friends of KDP division, which I was very excited about. I hope you guys were as excited about it as I was. I just really thought that we wanted to expand KDP to make it more talkable, word of mouth, get people to give it a chance and not necessarily make a full commitment if they didn't want to, just see what it is. And I'm hoping from that experience that we can generate more members and just be more visible in what we do, more transparent. Did you guys think this was a good addition? Did you guys like it?
I think that's really helpful because it gives people a chance to be involved, even if they're sorry that I'm in a car right now. I'm not driving. It gives people a chance to be involved, like, and see what it's about even more before they actually have to like completely pay and commit for membership. Because I know, like, I feel like the financial side of it, even though we say that there's options to make it so that it's not a burden if somebody can't do it. Like, people don't like to admit when that might be an issue. And so I think that's a really cool thing, that people can still be involved and be not meeting the credit requirements quite yet or anything like that.
Yeah, and going off of what Theo said, I know that there's some friends at KDP who chose to be friends because they weren't eligible to become members yet. So that's kind of a nice like way to dip your toes in the water and see if you want to commit to that full membership price. But there's no commitment at the $5 KDP or friends at KDP yet.
And I think that's what made this call out meeting so much more successful and so much more exciting this year. When we did this call out meeting to try to recruit more people and get people interested in what we are, I think it was exciting that we didn't have to turn anybody away. We didn't say you have to meet X, Y, and Z. We said we're welcoming everybody. And I think that was really a nice offer, you know? I don't like turning people away, so it's really nice when you can say, yeah, you can still come.
Well, and then you get to be a part of it more years. You don't have to wait, you know, so you can be a part of it since you start the teaching program, which is fantastic because you're just adding onto your resume and experience.
Definitely. And then we did a pretty big induction this year, which was really exciting, even though it was virtual. And there were weird aspects to it because it's virtual induction and having the random, because only one person at a time, having the echoes of things. It was kind of funny, but I think it was still overall pretty successful, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited for the chapter and the future for it because we're moving in this direction. And then after that, we had our monthly meetings once a month, and so we covered topics such as the resparking teacher passion. We had lots of leadership meetings, but we also talked about Convo, and we had the disability panel that Theo was on, which was excellent. I don't know if you guys all got a chance to see it, but
Thank you.
But it's really, I was really hoping to do the Convo one just because we don't have Convo this year, which is really kind of sad. But I also, if you guys have any downtime between semesters, I really encourage you to look at the KDP National website because it has so much good information. It has articles that you can read. It has videos you can watch. They even give you like certifications for watching some of these videos that you can like print out and like have like a nice little kind of like plaque thing for it. So that's kind of cool. So they have a lot of really good resources on there too. It's not just us, but if you have access to, yeah.
So
I'm getting notifications.
Theo, I saw in the chat. So have you been doing some of those webinars, Theo?
Yeah, I think I've done 2. It's nice that they're an available resource that you can just go into. It's cool to listen to people talk about their experiences and stuff. That's kind of like the ones I like.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, they're pretty flexible because there was one that I did that like it gave me the option if I wanted to be in person or if I wanted to watch the recorded video afterwards and still get credit for it. So it's kind of like us where they record it and you can still get credit for it. And so you don't necessarily have to be there at that time and place. I don't know if it's like that for all of them, but at least I know it's some of them because I've done it.
So does everybody get the emails from the National about the upcoming webinars and things like that? So
Yeah.
listen, and you can put that on your resume that you've attended. You have you're right, they'll send you a certificate of like yes, you came and participated. So if you needed to document that you did that, I mean, that's great to be able to say. So again, that's part of the membership that you have at that national level. And I agree, it's really a good thing to be able to participate in and do.
Yeah, it's especially I think important since we didn't have Convo to be able to have access to some of those professional development things that can further your education, things you can put on your resume. And then it can prepare you for Convo next year. And hopefully if you didn't watch the video about Convo, maybe you can watch the video about Convo if you want. Even this time, well, not this time, not December, but even the beginning of next semester, or not words, I'm sorry, it's been a long day. Even the beginning of next school year, when Convo's supposed to be happening around October. So even if you were preparing to go to Convo and maybe you were interested, you're not sure if you want to go or not, you can rewatch that video to prepare yourself for what you might experience in a sense.
Just in case you don't know, so the Convo, which is really the national convention, should happen in October of next year in Columbus, Ohio. Since it's so close, we'll be able to drive there, and we've been able in the past to successfully cover the cost for everyone to attend, except for the cost of food, through student government, through student fees. So we can be hopeful that we would be able to take 2 van loads next year. And alums, if you're close by, you can, we hope that we can all meet up there together. And it's usually about 3 days, sort of a Wednesday through Saturday event. And so I can't say enough good things about the opportunities that affords people. So we'll, in the spring, hopefully starting club meetings for people who are interested, and then over the summer, put together proposals to get the university to fund. And let's hope COVID really is behind us, that we can do that. So.
Another big thing that we started this semester was our committees. So we're really excited about those and for you guys to have more of a voice, to be able to have more direct action over what we do and how we do it. So I hope that you guys enjoy that and like that aspect of being able to have a little bit more control as members. I like your input. I hope you like to give input because I like to hear what you guys have to say because I think you guys have some really creative points.
At this point, I know there's a couple of people here who've been in committee meetings recently. I don't know if they want to report out where or do some summary of where the different committees are at. I know lots of people were challenged by the end of the semester with papers and things, but I don't know, I thought there's some great things that happened in the service committee yesterday, and so yeah.
Sorry, my video's off.
Oh, that's okay.
But yeah, in the service committee we met last night, and we just started kind of brainstorming some stuff. And I know Lydia was a part of that too. And she said she was going to reach out to Aaron's house and see if maybe we can come up with some sort of like collaboration where we can have like a book drive or something like that, where we're involving the community, reaching out with like local organizations. So I think we're getting some good ideas going, and hopefully we can keep adding to that.
Yeah, I just reached out to them today, so I'm hoping I get a response within the next couple of days. But we even talked about maybe having one of their staff members run a workshop for KDP members and other education students so that they can learn how to handle student grief, which is a big thing right now with what we're all going through. I actually attended one of their workshops back in March, and they gave me a whole booklet, handouts, resources. So I think it'd be a really awesome thing if we could get that together.
Certainly, grief is a giant topic, and I think that going on mental health and talking about what people are experiencing now with the pandemic and everything, I think that everybody experiences a little bit differently, and I think that it definitely is impactful on the state of of everybody. So I think that that's definitely a great resource. So I'm really excited about that. What do you guys think have been some of the biggest strengths or weaknesses about your experience in the committees?
I think the biggest difficulty is just finding a time to meet that people are there. That's what I found. I mean, I've struggled with, I know that I've struggled with going to meetings. I think I've been to one. I just haven't, it's been tricky this semester, but I think lots of things are tricky because the world is just a new place that most of us have never experienced before.
I think that's, oh, go ahead. I just think that in that, I'm glad people show, even if they can only show up once. So I think that's been good too.
Yeah, I was just gonna agree with Theo. I think it's just been a challenging like time of the year, especially like with everything going on. It's just a lot, but I do think the time is the biggest thing.
But with that, I feel like I've like actually talked to, when I've been at meetings, I feel like I've gotten to know people better than I have in the past, just because of, I don't know how, but somehow I've connected better with people this semester than I have in the past at KDP. And maybe that is because we're doing small groups. So even though I've only been to a couple things, I feel the leadership team specifically has gotten so much closer, and that's helped with us branching out and helping to build this community of people who want to grow and learn as educators.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are all aware, but like we've had leadership meetings twice a month, every month. Even more so in the summer. We met like all the time in the summer. We didn't take no breaks. We were trying to prepare for this year because we knew that things were crazy, and I feel like part of my vision was like, I'm just waiting for things to be over. I'm just waiting to see what happens. What's going to happen? And then it didn't change. But I feel like that's what we all do now. We're all just like, what's going to happen? But I mean, if we were talking about a downside of committees that you don't have a good time to meet, I mean, maybe it's something that we should explore. Like, should we record committee meetings? Should we let people comment opinions on it? Is that something that maybe we let the committee leaders have access to YouTube and have like a special folder for that committee, and we can do that if we want. I don't know. I mean, there's definitely options of what we can do to try to combat that, but I think that we should probably brainstorm and not just have me randomly shout out ideas. And that's probably something too that we could bring up at leadership meetings, and they could bring up at maybe the first chapter meeting next year. Definitely ways to improve, always. Always improving.
I think those are some great ideas, and I think, particularly like McKenna and Theo and Lydia, trying to decide, and Brooke, Alexis. I mean, I guess I'm just, it's like the non-student teacher people next semester, as we come back together. I think that's a great thing to think about. How do we support the committees in being more accessible and have continuity, and creating folders on YouTube if that's a easy thing for folks to do. I do agree. I think the YouTube channel has just really made a huge difference in how we operate this semester. And I've heard so sometimes students will email me, oh, I missed, I'm behind, and so I'm able to just send them the link, tell them, great, go ahead, make some comments. And there have been many people who've said in the membership, thank you, this has been really a great help. So so it's continuing to expand how we use that, I think is a great idea. Do you want to have, I don't know, Brooke, I was thinking fundraiser. I know Mara's not here. If you wanted to say something about where we're at, because don't we still have our Mud Love bracelet fundraiser going on. I don't know if anyone's been checking on that and seeing where we're at, but maybe this is a time to talk about that and talk about some things from that committee or that area.
Okay, so the Mudlove fundraiser right now, we're at $500, but we still owe that $75 for the having the fundraiser, I think it is. Which I think is like the most we've ever earned on a fundraiser for
Woo woo,
KDP, which is great.
$425.
I know we were talking about doing some fundraisers. I think we wanted to do like an online game night or like an online movie night to earn money. We talked about more dying to donate. Sorry, my notes are everywhere. And then we also decided like for like going out to create like decide on the budget that we want for the semester and then planned our fundraisers based off that budget, which I think is going to work really well.
And that's going to be super helpful that you'll have a treasurer now next semester. Well, not that we didn't have, sorry, Audra, we had a treasurer, but I just mean, since you're going to have somebody that's going to be hopefully able to work on that budget, it's something I'm really sad I didn't get to do, but I was trying to do, I promise. We made a sample budget, but things beyond my control happened in COVID. I'm going to blame everything on COVID. COVID sort of made it not a priority to have a budget, if that makes sense. In some ways, I mean, you still sort of do need a budget. You should budget if you don't budget, but yes. So that'll be hopefully a very good possible change. That's something Dr. Parton and I have talked a lot about, like making sure that we have a projected outcome of how much money that we should be making a semester, so that we have a goal of what we should reach, and trying to make great possible ways to sort of have predictions of how much money you can make from each fundraiser, which is actually, I guess, something I was trying to help you with, Brooke. I don't know if you have access to the KDP Google Drive yet, but
you did send me the password and the thing last leadership meeting.
Okay, perfect. Because one of the things that I was trying to work on with Dr. Parnon and Mara was like recording past fundraisers and how much money we made for them, so that it kind of gives you a jumping off point, an idea of what we've already done and what we've made from it, and so what you could do. So I hope that'll be helpful. We'll find out one way or another. But that's something that's hopefully going to be coming soon. So anyhow, I digress. We're talking about the semester and the Mudlove bracelets. So the Mudlove bracelets have been super successful. So I do want to thank Dr. Parnon, because she actually was the one that had the idea. She said, I met these people from this company. They're a great company. She pushes back like, I didn't really do anything. She had the whole idea. It was great. It was fantastic. And Mara's really pushed forward and really done a lot with it, doing lots of emails and talking to lots of people, sending lots of emails to me to make sure that we have everything we need for it. So she's really been the driving force on that, which has been really great. And we are still going to send out a few more reminders about the Mudlove on some social media. And I think we're going to send one out on the 15th as a final reminder for members as well. So you'll probably see emails from us soon.
And I think if people can amplify that on your own social media and encourage, if you've not done so, that's a helpful thing to be able to do, and send to alums or teachers that you know that might be interested. So, and you can, the other thing, I ran into somebody who asked me, they weren't so interested in buying the bracelet, but they were very interested in donating. So so you might let people know that they can just donate without having to purchase. And thank you, Alexis, that you tweeted that out. So that's great. And but yeah, so hopefully, but yeah, this has been hands down. And the number that you see there, minus the 75, which was like the initial setup charge that we had to pay, is all profit for, it's what we will earn, that they will sit, that they're saying a check. So really, you know, if we're really sort of doing 50%, then really they've brought in about $1,000 really total, which when you think about that, that's just phenomenal. So so yes, yay. But yeah, this is fantastic. It'll make a big difference in our budget.
And this could make a huge difference too. Like if we repeated it, maybe did different phrases, maybe did something similar but not quite the same.
Yeah.
It definitely could be repeated.
I think so. So we'll have to do that.
I
don't know. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna move on to the next main topic after the semester.
I didn't know if the events committee wanted to share out anything.
Yeah.
I think Adriana and McKenna, Theo a couple times, and Lily, I think, have been part of that group. I don't know if I've missed anyone else, but I don't know, just maybe some things that's been kicked around on that committee.
I was able to talk with Jessie. Sorry, my brothers are playing video games over there. And she did say that if we wanted to buy T-shirts to hand out at a graduation or an induction ceremony, we were able to use the Student Life credit card, which I think I copied you guys, or Dr. Parn and Kayla on it, and maybe Aaron too, I can't remember. But we just have to go there in person. So that's something to look forward to next semester if we do need to purchase anything for any event or KDP related item. We'll just have to email them ahead of time to make sure that somebody's going to be in the office. But yeah.
And I think that the events committee, so remind me if I remember wrongly, but you were thinking about some things like doing some technology around next semester and inviting some teachers in to do like sort of a panel to talk about what it's like to teach in COVID. And then another idea that was brainstormed, I think is really great, is this idea of like, can we figure out how to set up a workshop so people become Google Classroom certified, something like that again, so that I thought that could be just a really a great thing. Another thing around some of the book drive was this idea of maybe inviting in a couple of teachers talking about how to manage classroom libraries, how to get books for your potential, your future library. So I thought those were great things. And I think there was also in January was the idea of talking about scholarships, both School of Ed scholarships as well as KDP scholarships and things like that that you can apply for. So I'm really excited by the topics and potential events that were brainstormed. I don't know if those are the big things that I remember that committee needed. Again, I think end of Thanksgiving and Christmas, or the holidays, the end of the semester has really slowed down things, but I think there was a lot of work that was done on the committee that will make starting next semester ever so much easier. And I guess for membership, I think I'm the only one here. Well, Adriana, were you part of the membership? I think I was, myself and Mara, Katie Underwood, and oh, her name will come to me. She just joined this semester. She'll be student teaching next semester. 3 of us were on that committee, and so maybe this is, I don't know where you're headed for next, Kayla, but so membership is about graduation celebration, and it's also about induction and recruitment of members. And so I'll just update everyone where we have wonderful treats for each member of that's graduating, and we have our honor cords and some notes in there as well. And so those packages are not sent yet. We're still confirming addresses on all of that. But I don't know when you were planning on celebrating our graduate. We have one that's here tonight. So whenever you're ready, I always say some things about each person that graduates. So we will want to do that when the time is ready. But so that's what the membership committee was working on around some of those ideas. So
that was indeed the next topic, was moving on to celebrating our grads. It's like you're reading my mind.
I know we have a connection here, don't we? Well, Elaine, would you? I guess I can say some things, and then I don't know, Kayla. We don't have enough mental meld here that Kayla knows. I know exactly what Kayla wants to say, but I guess I'll start it out. And as president and vice president, you guys can weigh in. But Elaine, usually what we do, if we were all in person having wonderful donuts and chocolate and root beer floats and things like that, we would say, everyone who is graduating, come on up. We would give you your honor cords. We would give you these lovely things for your future classroom. And then I would say some things about you, as well as then you would tell us where you're going. So, so for Elaine, I've known you for a couple of years now, and I was so glad when you joined last fall. And it was one of those kind of times where they were asking for, you did the entire sidewalk competition for us on your own. And I remember getting you the sidewalk chalk and saying, whatever, go for it. You be creative. We had goodbye, McKenna. But we had a tagline. What was it? I can't remember now. Power of one, wasn't it? So we said, just use power of one, make sure KDP's on there, but represent it. And so you did, and you've been involved off and on. And then of course in spring we have COVID hit, which I think knocked all of us out as the chapter sort of went, we kind of froze. And but here you are, student teaching, and look forward to continue partnering with you as an alum. I don't think we've done this well, but as you guys graduate and you leave, you're still part of us, and we still want to make sure that if you have this great idea, hey, I wonder if the KDT people at PFW would like to be, or I wonder, or maybe you let us know what you're doing and where you're teaching at, so we can invite you back to say, so how was it that first year? Or how do you do virtual and kindergartners? Come talk to us. Or you might say, oh, there's this awesome person who does this great workshop. You guys should do it for students at PFW. So we want to stay connected with you. And I think eventually my goal, and I'll have to make sure it's a student, because it's a student-driven chapter, but I would love for us to see at least once a semester be able to send out an alum newsletter, kind of saying, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what's going on, and to know that we just don't have you for a couple of years and say, hey, good life, but rather that we stay connected. So I hope that you feel that way. And then I know, Erin, you've been sending out emails to our current grads asking them to give us a non-PFW address and ways to stay connected with you, because that's what we like to do. And I think with that, I'm going to just say, you want to tell us sort of where you student taught, what you did, what things you enjoy, because we have like 4 people on this Zoom thing here who will be student teaching next semester. We have Alexis and Lily and Erin and Kayla and Adriana. Okay, Brooke and Lydia and Theo, we're going to have to stay tough here, because you're part of the non-student teaching crowd for next semester. But I don't know, I'll stop talking, and Elaine, just tell us a little bit where you are so we can celebrate.
Yeah. So I'm doing my student teaching at Covington Elementary, which is in Southwest Allen County. Tomorrow is actually my last day, and I'm already so sad. Like all week the kids have been they're the sweetest group of first graders, but it's been a great semester. Um it was just I didn't know what to expect like with COVID going on. And one thing that Southwest is really good about is training their staff on how to do like e-learning days and flex days, things like that. So I actually got to do, we had 4 flex days, which is when the students are just doing their learning from home. So I was able to do like create all the online modules. Um, it was a challenge because they're all first graders, and to get 18 of my first graders to log on to a Zoom at 9 a.m. and then to go through the Canvas module with them. Like there was just a lot that I didn't think about that I ended up including. Like I would have to, like everything I wanted them to do, I had to make a video of myself explaining it, because they can't read my instructions. They can't. So that was a little challenging. And I couldn't imagine like if we would have had to go all virtual. I don't know how I would have done that. But I also, my cooperating teacher I worked with was so great. Like I can't say enough good things about her. She was very helpful. Um, I don't know. Student teaching is, I feel like everyone says it, but it's the best part. It's just fun, and it's hard like at first just because you're nervous and you want to make sure you're not doing anything wrong. But like the kids are so good about it, and I think if you just develop your relationships with the kids, then the rest kind of takes care of itself, and just ask a lot of questions. But yeah, it was really great. It was a great experience. I've applied for 2 different teaching jobs so far. Just this week I've started applying, and I know Dr. Parn and I was emailing you about another position. But there was one in Fort Wayne Community and then one in Southwest that I've applied for. So we'll see if I get any interviews for those. If not, there's a kindergarten teacher at Covington right now who asked me to do her maternity leave in the spring. So if I don't get any of the positions I'm applying for, I'll do her maternity leave in the spring, which I would enjoy. Kindergarten's fun, but I definitely like first grade. And this week I've gotten to observe a lot of the upper grades, like 3rd and 5th, which was really different from my first grade babies. Like it was just a different situation. But yeah, so it's been a really great experience, and I'm excited to see what kind of opportunities pop up.
Look, great. I'm just it's always fun to hear how sort of the end of the program is ending for you all. I don't know, for you, all of you who are going to be student teaching next semester, here's someone who might be able to answer a question or two, or even though if you're not student teaching next semester, if you have questions about it, and if we have a little bit of time, I think we have a little bit of time here. If you want to, Elaine, you can ask Elaine, ask a student teacher a question, kind of a thing. Because it's now behind you. Like I said, tomorrow, tomorrow, but it's exciting time too.
So like did you do the traditional type of student teaching format?
Yeah, I did the traditional. So I did the first week, I just observed. And then the second, third, and fourth week, I slowly took over more. And I would say like the 5th or 6th week, I was teaching full time. And then there was probably 6 or 7 weeks in the middle where I taught everything. And then I phased out the last 2 weeks where my cooperating teacher slowly took back over. But she helped me plan like almost every week still. I asked a ton of questions and she was very helpful, which I think most cooperating teachers are that way. So, but yeah, I did the traditional.
Okay. And so so pretty much during the 6 to 7 weeks, like you plan your own stuff. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I talked about it with like the person I'm doing my student teaching with, but I just want to double check. So
yeah. Well, I don't know what district you're in, but in Southwest, they actually have like curriculum maps So it was mapped out exactly what I'm like, at least for their reading workshops. So like the first half of the day was just a reading workshop pretty much. And all of that was mapped out on a curriculum map that like all of first grade was on one. And then the first grade team like collaborated to do all of our math planning. So I'm sure it's different at every school, but that was really helpful to me too, is like I also got to work with all the other first grade teachers to plan things
Oh,
out.
wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is really nice. I got a scope and sequence schedule,
Okay.
which is pretty helpful. So giving me like an estimate of how long I should teach like 2 units, because I'm secondary, so I'm doing imperialism
Okay.
for a little bit, and then I'm doing the Middle East.
Mhm.
So they kind of gave me like a how many weeks, like an estimate kind of I should aim for.
Yeah. And that's really helpful. That's what we did for like our social studies and science. And obviously secondary is a lot more involved with like social studies and science than elementary, but I found that really helpful. So I'm sure that'll be really helpful to you too.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Elaine, did you have to do any key assessments during the semester?
Yeah, I had 2 of them. And they were both, however, both of them were due within like the first like 2 months. So by the end of September, I had both of them already done. And at first that really stressed me out, but then I was glad for it because by the time I got into my full-time student teaching, I didn't have to do key assessments. I just had to do like my observations, which I just recorded myself teaching like a lesson, and then I would submit it to the university. Mhm.
And did you work during your student teaching, or did you just do student teaching?
Um, I picked up shifts occasionally, like on the weekends, like on Saturdays. There's a restaurant I work at sometimes, but I told my manager not to schedule me. And so I just kind of reached out to her and I was like, "Hey, like if I knew that I had maybe a week where I didn't have a lot on my plate, or like these last few weeks when I've already turned in my last assignment like a month ago, it's been better to be able to work then." But during like the bulk of it, when I was doing the full time and planning everything, I didn't really work.
I'll have to say for the key assessments are also embedded in with the work that you're doing. So there's one key assessment where you videotape yourself teaching a lesson where critical thinking is part of your lesson. So it could be any content. Well, I think we've changed it. I think it used to be any content, but I think you can do either language arts or math on that, and then and then and then the second one is where you do a mini unit, like three lessons really, but you're tracking to see how you collect data. That data then needs to help you decide what you're going to do differently tomorrow. So it's really, can you have the skill of understanding how to use data to inform instruction is really what that's about. So as faculty, we're looking, does this person understand? You got to figure out what your assessment instruments are, your pre-assessment, what's the baseline. Then I'm going to do these 3 lessons, and then how do students change over time? Is student learning happening? How do you know or don't know? In essence, is what that is. So it's in the work that you're doing that both key assessments are associated. But I would definitely talk to your cooperating teacher right away. Get with your university supervisor and talk about that, and then also be in close contact with Dr. Mers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about time management too. I mean, it's like, you know what it is, sit down, plan it in, and then it generally becomes pretty doable. But
Yeah,
what were you
and
going to say?
I just felt like Dr. Mers and the faculty member who was in charge of grading my key assessments and my university supervisor were all really flexible with like giving me extra time, because I know for the second key assessment, you have to pick 3 students to focus on. And one of my students got quarantined for 2 weeks because of a high exposure. So like things like that, especially if you're doing it next semester, like they're really flexible with that because it's out of your control if you have a kid that's out for 2 weeks, So they're pretty good about recognizing like, hey, it's the middle of a pandemic. If a kid gets out for 2 weeks, we understand that.
Yeah, there's communicate. And if you are falling behind because of whatever pandemic, whatever van blows up, whatever is happening in your life, communicate with Dr. Mers about exactly what's going on, and because you have a university supervisor and then you have a classroom teacher. So the classroom teacher you're working with on a daily basis, university supervisor, they have to observe 5 or 6 lessons of you, and then you have some sort of random faculty member assigned to grade your key assessments. So I'm usually assigned depending on the loads. Next semester we have a lot of student teachers, so we'll probably be grading. I'll probably have about 8 students that I'll grade on that. But they're just randomly assigned to me. I just get this list. These are who you're grading. And okay, here I go. Some people I know and some I don't. So, but yes, being just and use everybody as your support too. Use that university supervisor. Talk to your classroom teacher all the time. So.
I do want to thank you and congratulate you, Elaine, on your dedication to KDP, continually coming to things even during your student teaching. I mean, that's just says a lot about your dedication. So we really do appreciate you, and we do definitely want you to keep in contact with us and let us know what's going on. If you want any help or anything, we can definitely try to help you. We can try to invite you to meetings with different guest speakers and things.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'll definitely keep in contact.
And it's especially because of the pandemic, I feel like we've had to be a lot more intentional about that kind of stuff, and that's why we're making sure we have your email addresses. We make sure that we are telling you. The last thing that I wanted to do tonight was I wanted to introduce all of the new leaders, but unfortunately we don't have everybody to be able to see. But if you did vote, hopefully you somehow recognize their names. If you voted you read through them. We do have one of our new leaders, which we're excited about, which is Brooke, who's going to be our new fundraising chair. So there will be some new faces across the board.
And Lydia.
Yes.
Lydia, I know you can't see who's on my screen. She's right here.
Who are you pointing at? I'm like,
I'm pointing to Lydia.
You're pointing at Aaron on my screen, and I'm like, it's not Aaron.
But Lydia's our new historian. So, and Lily has done a historian in the past, and so, which reminds me, Lydia, that you and I need to get together sometime next week to do, so I can show you what the historian has done. I know, Lily, you're really busy, but you're welcome to join us if you wanted to kind of give Lydia pointers and things around that as well. So
yeah, sure.
Yes, please,
okay.
I would appreciate it.
Oh, good. Okay, I'll email you all and we'll get some times together and but yay, Brooke, yay, Lydia. Thank you for next semester.
We're very excited about the accomplishments of all of our graduates, whether they are here or not. We are excited about all of them, and we're rooting for them. And we are also excited for all of our new leaders, even if they are not all here. We're also excited about them. So there will be some new faces in charge, but same principles, right? We're still all following the same pillars. That's the word I'm looking for. So hopefully we will be moving in a great direction, and we will be new and great things. And I'm excited for our chapter, our little chapter. It's going to be moving on in the big world.
Mm-hmm. And thank you. I want to say maybe as the as we're thanking people, but Kayla and Adriana and Erin and Lily, thank you for your leaderships, walking into leadership roles over the past year. And so thank you for that. We are a very different chapter than where we were when you sort of walked into that in January of last year. And every leadership team has added and built the capacity of this chapter. As we're still, I feel, fairly new, really only been functioning for 5 years. And so thank you for adding to where we are. We've grown a lot, so thank you. And I appreciate having worked with you, but I'm going to save all of that for next semester when we graduate you guys. So, but right now, thank you as you transition out of primary leadership roles into people available for advice and guidance. So, thanks. Anything else, Kayla? I was just going to wish everyone good holidays and all of that stuff, and you know.
Good luck on finals. I know that not
Yes.
everybody is finished. Not everybody is as lucky as I got this semester somehow. But good luck on last days. Good luck on last days of field if you still have that going on. Finals. I know it's a highly stressful time for a lot of people to be able to meet right before, finals week, but we appreciate you.
Yeah. So. And then we'll see you all later.
Thank you. Have a happy holiday.
See ya in the new
Thank
year.
you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.